Welcome to Living Chassidus. Together, let's live the Chassidus we learn.
Morning, everybody. Welcome to Chassidus in the morning. 15 minutes to change our lives. Kuntres Maamar Tess. Finishing up Perek base. Today's Shiur is sponsored for Zchus, for Yeshua, an immediate revealed good outcome for Yitzchak, Yosef Yitzchak, Sara. The mitzvah Hashem should all be good. Begashmius and revealed speedily. Amen. And the schus of all our learning, and the schus of the sponsorship and the tzedakah should be a help. Also, we'll give tzedakah, gedol tzedakah, shemekar zagaula. Start off by the ship giving tzedakah should help all the Yidden Eretz Yisroel, and specifically the soldiers and the unfortunate hostages. The mitzvah Hashem should be good and healthy and safe, and specifically to Rumi Rachma bas Sara. We daven for Rumi Rachma bas Sara, and our learning should be in the and also Yosef Yitzchak ben Simcha. That should be safe and come home safely. Okay, let's start. So Mitzvah Hashem today, we're going to talk about, it's interesting, that Rashab gets into, based off all this information that we've been talking about for the last few days, how does health issues come, mental and physical? Yes, a reminder that before we've been talking about, there's two levels of the way Hashem interacts. There's Pnimius, and that is how, that's Seder Shtalshlus, and that's how Hashem puts the light specific for the vessel inside, and that's the order of Hishtalshlus. And like we said, the difference between the Seichel, and if you want to learn something, it takes time because the seat of learning is in the brain, whereas the Ratzin, which is above it, is everywhere, equal. So therefore, when you have a Ratzin, for example, to move your foot or your toe, which is the most distant from your brain, it moves immediately. Whereas if you want to learn how to dance, which is also your feet, being that it's a learned thing coming from Chachma, takes time. And then we talked about also about the Inyan of Bittul. And the Rebbe says, the Rebbe Rashab says that if a person has Yeshus is not just, well, one version of Yeshus is you think you're so great. But the sort of the more deeper understanding of it, Yeshus is a feeling of separate existence from God. As it says, ego is edging God out. That's Yeshus, edging God out, meaning there's making yourself separate from Hashem. Whereas Bittul is edging God in, is God realizing that I'm not a whole separate being from Hashem, I'm part of Hashem. Because if you have Yeshus, Ein Ani V'hu Yecholim Lader, him and I, it says, him and I cannot dwell in the same place. And Hashem can't be in a place with Yeshus. It's like it says, the Katzke Vart, that where can Hashem be found? Wherever you let him in. Because when you have Yeshus, you don't make space for the other person. It's like the famous story. The guy came to the Tzemach Tzedek, the Chassid, and he said, everyone is stepping on me in Shul. So the Tzemach Tzedek said, what do you want when you're lying on the floor? Meaning, you're spreading yourself out. Some people, they get into everyone's discussion, and so they get all angry. Everyone's talking to them not nicely. It's like, but you get into everyone's discussion. Why are you getting into everyone's discussion? And so that, and what we need to be doing is making ourselves a clear for the revelation of Hashem's light, and that's with being batal. Meaning all the side of holiness. And then a place of bittul, which is letting Hashem in, that we recognize that there's not me and Hashem, we're two separate beings, and there's my life, and then there's that time that I put Hashem in my day. I'll do the davening that he needs me to do, whatever he needs from me, but really I live my own life. Like my friend, Perek Hashem is married now, but this was years ago. We're talking about shidduchim, and he said, I'm worried that who Hashem has in store for me is not who I want. him and Hashem and I have different opinions on who I should be marrying. And I thought when I thought about this a little bit, it was a wild, mistaken idea. Basically, what he's saying is, I know better than Hashem. Is my opinion, this is Hashem's opinion. And my opinion is different. I think this is good for me, even though Hashem thinks that's for me. He knows better than Hashem. Very, very interesting thought. But this is sort of an issue of yeshus. That is Hashem's opinion, this is my opinion. It's like little kids that they think they're smarter than everyone. That's a yeshus. It doesn't like it. Whereas bittul, and therefore when that happens, so it separates. Whereas bittul, you let God in, so then you can have that revelation of Hashem. There dwells Hashem's holiness. Hashem's gets to reveal himself there. As it says in Tanya, Perek Vav, which we just learned. Yeah, we just learned Perek Vav yesterday in the last 2 days. Yeah, and it's very simple. It's also a very simple way of understanding this is also in terms of relationship. That in a relationship, do you have bittul, you can open yourself up and you can reveal yourself. Whereas when you don't have bittul, you can't reveal yourself. You go to a place and you try to open up, and someone comes and makes fun of you or doesn't make you feel safe to open up, you don't open up. And that's yeshus. Whereas bittul, you make a safe space for a person to open up. Now, this is why in Seder Ishtalshlus, like we talked about, by nature and the way the worlds go in the Seder Ishtalshlus from Matzilus, Bria, Tzir, Nasiya, and from the Esther spheres of Chacham bin Adas, which is everything has to have a specific light and a specific vessel, and has to be all tailored and organized. And that's how Hashem deals. So there's a din v'cheshbon, there's a calculation. Whether the calculation is whether the person is fitting for this godly light and this godly energy. Because if you're not batal to Hashem, but the person is a separate entity within their own eyes, meaning not that they're physically separated, because we can't separate ourselves from Hashem, but there's the feeling of there's my life and there's Hashem's life, and we're two separate beings. So therefore, he can't receive from Hashem's holiness. Like we said before, the Katzkavart, Hashem can come only in a place that lets him in. But when we come, we say there's me and there's you, and we separate ourselves, so then you don't let him in. It's like let's say an example, like someone that's a genius wants to share some good information for you. But if you come and say, no, good, I know everything. That's so then you don't get it. But you get like from the hind part, like we said in the past. Commission is Maamar base, Perek base, like we said in the second Maamar, in the second Perek of that Maamar, Maamar Zayin, Perek Aleph, B'inyan Kabbalah, when we discussed how we receive from the Sitra Achra when we do an Avera. And it occurs from behind part, or like we said, the marshal of the banquets, and then in the end, there's also food that goes to the waiters and the leftovers and stuff. But that's not the purpose. Yeah. Someone that's nullified to Hashem. If he feels Hashem's will, that's what's fitting to Hashem's life force. From his energy. And basically, simple in simple terms, simple English, what we're saying is we have to try to work on having Hashem in our lives. That we have to try to say to ourselves, there's not me in Hashem, that I'm part of Hashem, I'm part of the plan. Hashem needs me, not as me as a separate total being, that I have my life, my own desires and wants, but I'm trying to see the world the way Hashem wants me to see it, and do the things the way Hashem wants me to do it. And that's the inyan of bittul. And trying and saying, hey, what does Hashem want from me in this situation? How could I look at it from my Hashem glasses and Hashem perspective? Kitzur. As spheres, the Atzilus, the 10 spheres in Atzilus, Heim Eires Pnimim, they're internalized lights. Hamislabshim Bekalim, that's included in vessels, Masimim. that are fitting, ubayim beishtash, and this comes as a descent, a chain-like descent, an organized fashion. It's like electricity. You have the power plant, which is the source of everything, and then it goes through contraction until you get to the plug in your wall that you can plug in your little toaster and it can work. And if you try to plug that in from the power plant, it probably wouldn't work so well. And the first sphere in Atzilus is Chachma, which comes from the word koyach ma, the power of what? So Chachma is able to tap into what's above. But as it comes down, it goes into a calculated way, like we talked about the donor that gives specific amounts based on a lot of the din v'cheshbon, the calculations. How much do you need? What are you using it for? Who are you hiring? V'chulu v'chulu. L'fi oifen habitl, and it's based on how much bitl. The bitl who he kli ru'uya lashras kedushas yisbarach, because the bitl makes you a fitting vessel to get Hashem's hashpah. And that is Perek base. Now we're going to start Perek Gimel. In Perek Gimel, we're going to discuss about 4 different reasons why it has to be this way. And we're going to bring in, I don't know if we're going to be able to get to it today, but in Mitzvah Hashem, maybe we'll see. It's getting a little late. But basically, it talks about, that's why when this process of and Keli aren't working properly, you have a mix-up. And that's why you get why there's mental health and physical health issues because of this mix-up. Let's see. Perek Gimel. Amnam kol inyan hadin v'cheshbon hu rak mitzad seder shtalshlus. This organized fashion only comes through seder shtalshlus, when Hashem does it in this organized, natural way. The kach hi hamida b'shtalshlus, but that's how it is in the shtalshlus. Shemurchach shiyeh din v'cheshbon meduyak mitzad abatam. For 4 reasons, it has to be exact this way. And what are the 4 reasons? Ha'alav liyoisai or pnimi, because being that the light has to be internalized, so it has to be with this din v'cheshbon. And we're going to explain what all these mean. The second reason that it has to be exact is because mitzad inyan haseder, because of the order. And the third reason, the gimel liyoisai or b'kli, and being that it has to be a light into a vessel, so it has to be organized, and it has to be very exacting. And dalad mitzad hishtalshlus, and also it has to go down and descend to lower levels. So if you don't have it organized, it'll be chaotic. It has to be run well for all these 4 reasons. Again, the 4 reasons is the light is internalized. The second reason, because it has to be in order. The third reason, because it has to be the light has to go into a vessel. And the fourth reason is because it has to go down to lower levels. So all these 4 reasons makes us to be very, very exact. Din v'cheshbon. So let's understand this a little bit. Kol every light, ezeshu bein hamoichin bein hamidos, whether the light is the light of the intellect, the light of emotions. Harei yesh loy tivoi ha'atzmi b'mashahu. It has its nature. The hamoichin, because the light of the intellect, hu b'teva hahisyashvus. It's by nature very, very settled and very calm. When you think, you don't run around jumping up and down. You're very calm and very methodical. That's its nature. But Amida is in contrast to the, let's say, emotions that we talked about is in the heart. But by nature, the emotions get you excited and get you all pumped and all emotional. People don't normally get emotional thinking about an idea. When the idea becomes into the heart, and then it becomes emotional. And then they have all these emotions and all fiery and passionate. So too with its inner light. It has its natural light. Which is what it is very exacting. The nature of this light, the pnimis light, is that it's very exact. And therefore, the light that's meant to be in the brain can't go into the heart, and the light that's meant to go to the heart can't go to the brain. Tomorrow we'll finish up, and as you can think for yourselves, that using this information to start to understand why, if they're not put right, that's when issues come. To be continued tomorrow. Have an amazing day.